My name is Jenelle Esparza. I'm an artist living and working in Texas, San Antonio currently. And I make work that really has to do with my family's history here in the state of Texas, specifically the region of South Texas. And this show is kind of a culmination of things, but really I've been saying it's kind of about this perspective of a landscape, really specific to where I'm from. And I really like this concept of a landscape acting as a witness to history, like a living witness, and maybe even a record keeper, or if maybe even a landscape could be an archive to historical events. The kind of source material that I work with a lot is cotton, and specifically cotton that's grown in South Texas because of my family's really long lineage with that fiber. We have a long history here of, I would say, at least 3 generations, possibly 4 on my mother's side, and also a few on my father's side, of living here, working in fields, and there's just so much history with that fiber in particular. So I tend to use it a lot as like a source material. And even in this show, there's quite a few sculptures that I created from actual family heirlooms and objects that belong to my great-grandparents that they used in the fields. And they really are considered heirlooms in my family because they're old, they have so much history, and they really tell like our family history just by existing, and so holding on to those things is a really big deal. And so to have them in the show and kind of show them off and kind of transform them in this way is really important to me. And incorporating the cotton fiber talks about like kind of growing from that kind of history. I also kind of look into that study of epigenetics and your experiences being passed along through your DNA, along with like things like physical traits and behaviors and stuff. So the question I ask myself is, what does it mean to come from that kind of labor or to come from that kind of history? What kind of behaviors and traits have I inherited from that kind of labor that my relatives did? So I wanted to use the cotton fiber in a way that I physically use my own body to create. And weaving is very much a full body experience. But I think the pairing of the found object pieces with the weaving, like sometimes you have, in this show, you have objects that are kind of hovering in front of a fiber piece. And that was kind of a breakthrough moment, but it was also really challenging to find balance. But I think I'm really trying to create, like they started to create characters with those pairings. All of the pieces themselves are naturally colored cotton. So like the greens, the browns, and of course the white, the off-white is all undyed, just kind of naturally grows off the plant in that color. And so that was important to kind of retain that organic color. And I did want to shift the mood, and I wanted it to be like a earthy soil like color. And I wanted people to feel that kind of gutturalness of a landscape, maybe even like deep set soil sediments or something. There's lots of references to, I think, bodies in this work. And it's not, like I think there's a lot of figures in nature. I think that nature like kind of mimics a human body in a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's really funny the way that it does it, and sometimes it's really beautiful and kind of haunting. And I think this is going for a little more of the haunting part. But I do see some of these pieces, like individual weaving pieces, as both a body and a landscape. The skiff is a family heirloom kind of tool that was left behind by my great-grandparents. Another one that kind of hung next to the plow in the garage. And I had found this piece of, I think it's a piece of a magnolia tree. Somebody trimmed their yard and I found it on the curb, and I just thought it had a really similar shape. And the skiff itself is kind of body shaped. It has this weird curvature to it, almost like a spine or something. So again, referencing the figure. And it's made of wood, and I kind of attach these two ropes to it so they're tethered together. And the title of it is Umbilical. So there's this kind of mother offspring kind of connection to this found object, piece of wood, and then this actual tool that has a, important significance in my family. I switched it up here. I wanted to suspend it and kind of have them kind of twirl and dance with the movement of the air and the space and see what that relationship kind of looked like. I want people to feel something really guttural, the frailty and the vulnerability of a body, but also like the strength and resilience and its capability to heal itself.